Welcome back as we continue our coverage of the Young Cattlemen's Conference and how the program helps shape the next generation of beef industry leaders. Now, participants don't just sit in a classroom, they travel the countryside, gaining firsthand knowledge into the real world of beef production policy and promotion. Here's more from the Ohio portion of a recent YCC tour.
The Ohio stop of NCBA's Young Cattlemen's Conference started with a visit to the Certified Angus Beef headquarters in Worcester. There, the group learned about premium beef branding, how CAB evaluates cattle market dynamics, and spent time in the meat lab to better understand carcass value.
We hope that they gain that more intimate knowledge of not only what our company does and our brand does in terms of marketing, but we hope that they gain a better appreciation for the downstream business, the customers from the packer on down through the consumer. So we're tickled to do whatever we can to add to their learning experience and let them taste some of our great food from our chef team here in the Culinary Center.
I didn't know what to expect from CAB, but seeing their passion that they have for their brand, for their producers, and for the end product, it's one of those where it makes me want to become a CAB producer, because it just makes you part of something bigger, because you want to make sure that our consumers are always enjoying that quality product at the end, because I think that's what we're always striving for.
We in the agriculture industry sure need help telling our story about what we do, and I feel like the folks here at CAB do a great job of assisting us and helping us tell our story. I didn't realize the scope of how many people worked here, just how many countries they touch, not just here in the U.S., but all across the globe.
The visit provided insight into how consumer trust is built by delivering a consistent beef product. YCC participants learned how programs like Certified Angus Beef and Beef Quality Assurance work together to strengthen the industry's reputation from pasture to plate.
So we talk a lot about the Beef Quality Assurance Program. So for us, in our minds, beef quality assurance training and certification is a perfect way for producers to show their dedication to cattle care. And from a consumer standpoint, we know through research from the Beef Checkoff, we know that it truly does increase their trust in what we do on the farm and ranch.
Our family's been Beef Quality Assurance certified, and I think that's really important for all producers across the nation to do. And I think that's our goal, is to make a uniform set of calves that will eventually end up in a uniform product for producers. So our consumers aren't having large variations in their, eating experience. We want them to always have a good experience eating, and we do that by having consistency in our product.
The group also toured retail stores to see how beef is marketed and sold at the consumer level. These stops emphasize the connection between producers, brands, and end users, reinforcing the full beef supply chain's role in driving demand.
We are consumers of beef, but we are not the average beef consumer. As producers, we need to make sure that we understand the shoes that Mr. and Mrs. Consumer are walking in when they walk up to a meat case. If I were to poll the entire YCC class, I would venture a guess that there's probably a lot of people here who haven't purchased beef in the grocery store in recent history, likely because they're raising their own beef. And so it's just a good opportunity to filter the lens through the consumer's eyes of the people who ultimately are purchasing our product.
I think it's always important to go to your retailer and see what is there. Talk to the people behind the meat counter, because they're the ones that are selling the product. But then it's also good to see how our beef is displayed, how the cuts are cut up, see the pricing, so that we can then have a conversation with our consumer about what is going on and what they are seeing.
It's really important with all of the changes that we have in our industry and the tools and technology that we have, that we keep working to improve and keep working together to make our industry stronger with those consumers in mind.
We've got the supply, but without the demand, our supply doesn't hold much value. So it's imperative that we know what the consumer's wanting from us, and that we take the cues and give them what they want.
You can be the best producer in the world or in America, but if the end user and consumer has a negative experience, all your efforts would be therefore relatively wasted. And so it's nice seeing that everybody in the value chain is doing their best and putting their best foot forward to ensure that the producer's hard work is represented when it goes on the plate at the retail level.
The stops in Ohio gave these future beef industry leaders a chance to see how branding strategies can impact consumer demand, and why understanding that connection is important to the entire beef industry.